Oh! Hey guys, it's Julian here with another anime review. And he seems to be coming off Halloween right now, maybe? I was just calling my best girl Hollow. You wouldn't happen to have any wheat on you by any chance? Yeah, I think you're gonna have to do better than that. You might need some apples to better appeal to her. But while you're doing that, why don't we actually go review Spice and Wolf then? Look at you, getting my anime references now. I'm so proud. Well, anyway, let's take a look at this traveling duo. The series doesn't quite address the main storyline of Hollow trying to get back to her town, but instead we get to address 4 major arcs in the series, and this is kind of because the light novel at the time only came out 2 years prior to the anime actually being done. So that means there wasn't so much progression done at this time, so to the point of we got to only really see Lawrence and Hollow get up to the point where Lawrence actually does confess his love to Hollow, which, don't get me wrong, I was really happy about, but I was a little disappointed when Hollow didn't quite utter the same phrase back to Lawrence, but we all kind of knew that's where her feelings kind of lied. And the second half of the series was a lot more based on their romance, with those 2 arcs really focusing on their relationship. While the first 2 were more kind of playful and more on the trade and escape and more of the mythology of the world and stuff, the second half really did deal on their relationship. And I mean, it was really very heartbreaking to find out when Hollow found out that there were kind of bad tales about her town, that it may not even still be there, just how devastated she was, and to the point where she was like, well, why don't I get married? Why don't I just bear children? That was a very painstaking moment in the series. But okay, let's put aside Kraft Lawrence's relationship for a bit, because we have a whole section to talk about that. Let's talk about what the series does really well. And that is all the crazy business deals and merchant trades. I mean, Kraft Lawrence is an amazing merchant. Like, he can get some pretty dang good deals, and with his business associate Hollow, those deals get kind of sweetened from time to time. And I think it is phenomenally crazy just how well they tried to keep the attention to detail in the series on this trade. Now, don't get me wrong, it does get a little outrageous at times. Trouble seems to follow our main 2 characters wherever they go. Each arc kind of starts out the same when they arrive in a new town, waiting to do business, and a great business opportunity just so happens to jump upon them. Lawrence is a little skeptical at first, decides to dive straight in, and then he kind of gets played a fool, and then Hollow and him have to kind of work together to get themselves out of this problem. I mean, in every arc too, Hollow is always drinking oh so much, and in the first season it was kind of more where Hollow didn't really want to be a burden, and then the second season Kraft Lawrence kind of changes his dream, but Hollow still thinks that he just wants to open up shop and settle down. But Lawrence has kind of changed his dream and not really told Hollow about it. So they're at odds about where their relationship is going to be, and maybe they should just cut their journey short. Well, that really tugs at my heartstrings to see that's kind of where the series was going, but there wasn't much source material at the time. And I mean, those 6-episode arcs just kind of drawn out the story just a bit too much. I mean, there were some details, don't get me wrong, kind of every detail was important to the story, but it did feel like some arcs were overdrawn and it could have been solved a lot simpler, or I didn't need to know these sort of details. Now, with the series being out for so long now, there must be tons of more source material that a 3rd season could be done. But I think it should be rebooted. Funimation labels this as a classic anime, and now that it's over 10 years old, I think maybe it should be rebooted. But double check my anime theory for that video. But back onto the mainstay Hollow. She was a overly popular character at the time. Like, she is still barely popular today, with many figures being created about her, but I think her popularity has diminished. I mean, at the time, she was a very feisty wolf girl, She was wise, she was very, very aggressive. In comparison to other characters at the time, which were more cute and sweet and kawaii, she was very different. She was more of a tsundere, which again, at the time, around the early 2000s and 9s, when there weren't that many tsunderes out there, was a big deal. I mean, the other major one that we had out there was Shakugan no Shona, which I actually have already seen and am waiting to create a review on, so hit that subscribe button to see that review when it drops. But that was a big deal at the time, where tsunderes were not a common trope. Now don't get me wrong, we're in 2020, fast forward, the trope has been very much exhausted. But at the time, it was super popular. Now, we've kind of been in that kind of dry phase now where that trope hasn't been quite used as much, so it would be great to see her slingshot back into popularity. And I mean, there have actually been a lot more other characters that have become super popular, such as Asuna and other characters. So it would be nice to have her return to that spotlight. Alright guys, it's time for Romance Corner. And I mean, come on, there's really only one couple in the series to talk about, which is Kraft Lawrence and Hollow. While the entire series is really just focused on these two characters and everyone is just kind of a minor character, in the first season we do actually get the first jealousy moment with Nora. Her being the biggest threat to Hollow, Kraft Lawrence clearly has no eyes for her, and yes, he does joke around with Hollow, saying Hollow isn't quite his type of girl, but I think that's kind of the playful thing of the series, is that they both tease each other romantically, but they do actually have romantic feelings for one another. So for them to kind of grow in the series, it becomes very hard because they know that Hollow and Kraft Lawrence are supposed to depart at some point, because the whole point is to get back to Hollow's hometown, and past that, their journey will end. Well, I don't think Kraft Lawrence really does want it to end, and again, because the source material wasn't quite there, I don't get to see them actually be a true couple. I mean, like I said in the beginning of this review, I was really happy that Kraft Lawrence does confess his love to Hollow, but I was very disappointed that Hollow didn't quite say those words back. So, for now, they are a pretty sweet and adorable business couple, and I can't wait to see where they go from there. Alright, it's time for the segment I have inherited, which is the 3 reasons why you should be watching this anime. Number 1, it's an anime staple. Yeah, well, Funimation labeled it a classic, but I think it is a staple in anime history, telling a very unique story and having very different type of characters. Like I said, Hollow was a first of her time when this series first came out, and I think she does stand the test of time as being a great unique character, as well as the story is nothing quite like it out there. I mean, the main fact of it, it's not an action, it's not so much of an adventure too much, but it does a great deal of business, and I think it's thoroughly entertaining in its own manner. Number 2, Trouble. Trouble seems to follow our characters throughout the series regardless, and I think it makes it so much more enjoyable that they get themselves into really random trouble. I mean, it's not your average, normal, everyday, oh, I got cheated out of money. No, we're talking over-the-top antics of crap. I'm losing a crap ton of money, or I've seemingly auctioned off my partner. This is completely out there, which I think makes the series so much more enjoyable. And the final point is the couple's dynamic. Kraft Lawrence and Hollow have a interesting relationship, to put it gently. I mean, they constantly bicker, and when they do bicker, things seem to get better. I wonder if we can learn something about that for our own relationships. But it's the fact that they do reconcile at the end that makes them such a great couple. And the fact that there's a little mix of romance in there and the huge confession, I think, puts it over the top. I am, again, like I said, very unfortunate in not being able to see them progress any further. As Spice and Wolf has definitely shown us, fall is a great time for festivals and harvest. And as we're coming out of our fall season right now, our festivals and harvests are coming to an end. But don't worry, they'll be back again next year where we can fully enjoy them to our heart's content. But you know what you can do in the meantime is watch more theories and anime reviews from me. So, I hope to see you guys in the next video. See you later!